Runescape.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Jeremy, and I know in the last episode I said I would be probably doing Holy Grail as well as some prayer, like training, burying bones, and all that good stuff. Which is, it's a half truth in this episode. I do get a lot of prayer levels and a lot of progress toward that, but I did not do Holy Grail. One of the big reasons was time. The second one was you needed a second person to distract an NPC for, not for Holy Grail, but for the quest before it, Merlin's crystal, I believe. You need someone to distract the NPC, which is BS, but hey, it's whatever. So that's why Holy Grail's not in this. So I did get a shield upgrade, as you saw there. Looks pretty sick, matches my cape. It's like 7 armor better than the little iron one I was forced to use. I think lesser demons drop the mithril one, so you'll probably see me going for those, trying to get the rune med helm, because the adamant full helm with the rune looks freaking ridiculous. So in this episode I went on like a fishing binge and literally went from like 28 all the way to 40 by the end of this episode. So I'll just show a few bits here and there because a whole episode of just fishing is boring as hell. But there's 30, which unlocks salmon. Interesting fact on here, salmon and trout, they have their colors reversed from what they are in RS2. On RS2, the trout are white and the salmon are pink. They're reversed on here. Fun little fact. So I kept at it. 1 feather left. I got 35, which unlocks tuna. That's 10 health per bite, which is huge on here because, as you know, if you've watched the rest of my episodes or even played RSC, you have to take 3 hits from anything that's aggressive toward you that you encounter. Now, the first and sometimes the second time you click off of it and run, you do not always get away. It usually catches up with you and all of that stuff. So you take more hits, and you can only really get like 2 to 3 bites of food in between. So if it's something that's doing heavy damage to you, that's dangerous territory. So I had to go all the way to 50 wilderness because of the bot problem at Hill Giants. You go to Hill Giants with your brass key in Varrock, and there's always one there that has like a dragon longsword and is literally 2 or 3 hitting everything, and you can't get your hands on one Hill Giant. It's ridiculous. So I went to the wilderness, and also it actually worked better. It worked in my favor because there's a Guam leaf spawn right there that you can see that I pick up right here. And each time it spawns, like if you use that Guam leaf to make attack potions and you identify it, I think it's like 27.5 experience, maybe more. So I see it as every time it spawned, it's basically 30 experience in herb lore, which is very nice. So I will be using those up as well. You'll see how many I get, and it will give you an idea of how long I was here in this spot, which was a handful of hours. So that goes hand in hand with why the Holy Grail was not in this episode. Time constraints if I wanted to get it out this week to you guys. And it's not as long as the other episodes, but I will keep getting these out weekly because you guys seem to enjoy them. But progression is going to get slower and slower the higher levels I get, and you guys know that, especially on RSC. But I did get from like 24 or 25 prayer all the way to 28 just off burying bones. No gilded altar on this game if you guys haven't figured that out. But yeah, 28 prayer. So here's some of my loot. It's not everything. I have more law runes than I did. I have 155 nature runes. So that's pretty much all the high alchemy runes I'll ever need, pretty much, which is very nice. I got probably 6,500 coins around that just off the GP drops, which will help out with magic when I start training that. 37 limpwort roots. And all my Guams, I got 82 off literally just looting them off the ground. So that just shows how powerful that spot is. So pretty much every time you see me kill these, I am going for the mithril square or the rune med, neither of which I've gotten, even by the end of this video. So, very annoying. So another interesting thing I ran into was I didn't know teleport spells could fail. Like, look at that. Like, what if I was in a clutch situation, like 10 HP at a boss or at some high-level content, and I needed to get away and it failed and it caused me to die? Because on this game, you don't get back to your stuff. In rare cases, you do. Because you can't run, and things literally stay on the ground for only, like, a few minutes. So yeah, it kept failing, so Literally, I just walked there. It reminds me of like those scary movies where someone gets in the car and like the bad guy's chasing them and the damn car never starts. It's a pain in the ass. So I went to Taverley after I got my secondaries, the Eye of Newts, off of running those back and forth. The Valley, I didn't record that because that's boring, but I did fill up 82 vials of water one by one from Taverley. Reason I didn't buy the vials of water in like Artie and a few other places, I believe, is because the bots. The damn bots. They're always on. They just happen to be on when I'm recording. Like, I don't know if they keep them running all day or not, but I mean, I can't really bitch about the bots because I think that's one of the few things that keep this game up for everyone to enjoy, believe it or not. And here's my first inventory of tuna. Surprisingly, I only burned like 2. Like, and it was at the very end when I jinxed myself and was like, oh, I'm going to record this and be funny because I didn't freaking burn any. So, kind of serves me right on that. So, stocking up on tuna. Look how long it takes to even get a full envy. It's around like 10 to 15 minutes just of spam clicking the spot. Luckily, the harpoon is the left click option on this spot. Otherwise, it would have been hell. Like, I can imagine trying to get lobsters and right clicking every time. And it doesn't sound like a lot, like, oh, he has to right click, but you literally do this hundreds of times to even get a full envy. Like, I got one early, but look at all the fails. It's just it's kind of ridiculous, but it makes everything much more rewarding, you know. But I eventually gave up on the tunas and went back and fly fished and got 40 fishing, which is huge. That's lobsters, that's 12 hit points per bite. Better cooking XP, better fishing XP. Fly fishing is still probably faster XP actually, but you get the point. It's a step up. It's a huge milestone. Lobsters are great. They look funny on here. So I really need to start muting my phone and like throwing it in a cabinet or something before I do this footage. So I got a half key and this little turd's trying to prevent me from picking it up. It's considered a very rare drop from pretty much anything you get it off of. And you know what else is considered a very rare drop? A left half of the Dragon Square. So I'm sure the Dragon Square, at least on RS, like old school and stuff, it's a lot more rare than the half keys, but it's nice to know I got something that's labeled as just as rare according to the wiki. I know it's not, but they're still both labeled very rare. So I was just, when I got that, I was just AFKing, and I'm still kind of AFKing like this as I was either editing footage or doing something. And it's a very nice place because they die in a couple hits, and they're always aggressive because then they're in the wilderness. So I also decided to get ranged. This is just showing you kind of how it works. You have to be behind a fence. If anything gets a melee hit on you or attacks you, you start punching it and you don't get the range XP. It's very annoying. But I ended up getting to 15 range, which is like an oak longbow. So after the oak longbow, you have to fletch your own bows, and because the shops only sell up to oak. So these few clips are just me getting like 2 or 3 magic levels. I think before I started recording, I was at 37, and these clips show me get up to 42. So that's a nice little boost as well. And nothing significant comes from getting those except for 41 is the first death rune spell. It's like Wind Blast, so it's a very strong spell. Only problem is death runes aren't exactly common. There's a spawn in Feldip Hills, but I don't know how quick it spawns. And it's like 1 death rune. And then most of the things that drop death runes, it's like 1. So I also did try and grind out lesser demons for you guys. I only get between 5 to like 8 kills a trip. But I was like killing them here, going to Brimhaven, going to Artie, thieving a full envy of cakes after I ran out of food, or like it put a huge dent in my food doing this rather, and then I would just come back. That's the most efficient way I found, like if you don't have food like already sitting there. And I did this for probably, I would say around 3 hours, definitely not as long as I did Hill Giants, definitely not, but it was enough for me to get like 1 whole defense level pretty much, and 1 whole strength level. Maybe 2 whole strength levels. 2 whole strength levels, I think, just about, and a defense level. So, I mean, it was a good 2.5 hours minimum of trying to get that rune med from these guys, and they just kept dropping me stupid crap. I remember getting excited over, like, steel full helms, like, because I just right-clicked it and glanced at it, and I thought it was a rune med, but it wasn't. So, But anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. I will be getting that damn drop next video too.